بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على سيد الأشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، طبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد والصلاة والسلام على أهله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. قال عز وجل في قرآن المجيد: إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. صل على محمد وآل محمد. Allah Azza wa Jal, the Merciful, has again given us another day in our lives. That today again we are sitting in the Majlis of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain alayhi salatu wassalam. This is our second gathering here in Wakefield, and we have all come with one intention, and that intention is to please the mother of Hussain ibn Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. Whenever we gather together, whenever we sit for the zikr of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam, there are certain etiquettes that we have to learn. There are certain akhlaq and morals that we need to know when we are sitting in the majlis of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain. Firstly, we need to understand where we are sitting, because I mentioned this yesterday, that we are lucky, we have been chosen, the blessing of Allah is upon us, that we are amongst those people that remember the tragedies that fell upon Imam Hussain. We are those people that cry for the tragedies that fell upon the family of Rasulullah. If we have been chosen by Allah Azza wa Jal, then there are certain rules and regulations that we as believers of Ali Muhammad need to follow to show the world that we are actual Shiyan-e Haidar-e Karrar. I mentioned the hadith from Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam yesterday, that the Imam says that show people that you are our follower, you are our believer, not through speaking, but through your actions. And we are going to continue this today so that you can understand what are the etiquettes that you have to follow when you attend Majlis-e-Hussain. Because it is very important, as I said, that your parents are bringing you here, because the elders in this majlis, they know and they have learned this through years of attending majalis, through seeing their parents and their elders, how they sit in Majlis-e-Hussain. And now we need to learn these, because if we want to attain the full blessings, the full spiritual guidance from Ali Muhammad, the full spiritual, intellectual noor, light and inspiration from Ali Muhammad, then we need to learn how to sit in the Majlis of Hussain. And what we need to do to prepare ourselves before we attend the Majlis of Hussain. Like when a person recites namaz, before he can even stand on the prayer mat, there are certain conditions that he needs to fulfill. For example, one of the major conditions is that he needs to purify himself. He needs to be pure. His clothes needs to be pure. The place where he is reciting namaz, that place also needs to be pure. The prayer mat that he is using to recite his prayer, that prayer mat also needs to be pure. When all of the conditions of namaz are fulfilled before you even recite namaz, then you can stand on the musalla and the prayer mat and say Allahu Akbar. Many conditions that you have to fulfill before you even recite your salah. Then this azim place, where, as I said in many majalis before, that where the majlis of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain takes place, where the zikr of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam takes place, not only are we present in that majlis, but thousands and thousands of angels are sitting amongst you. And this is a hadith, it is a narration from the sixth Imam, that whenever and wherever the gathering of Imam Hussain takes place, angels line up to ask Allah for permission so that they can attend that place where the zikr of Aba Abdullah is taking place. And then it is our iman and firm belief that wherever the zikr of Imam Hussain is taking place, Sayyida Tahira Fatimatu Zahra Salamullah alayha, Sayyida attends that place. You know, when the mother of Hussain comes to the majlis of Hussain, she comes to thank you for remembering her son Hussain. You have all heard the story that on Chand Raat, as we gathered on the sighting of the moon of Muharram, there was a lady who had a young son, and many people say he was 18 to 20, but he was quite young. And her son died on the eve of Muharram. What what do you think she should have done? She should have stayed, remembered her son, cried for her son, called people so that together they can commemorate her son. But she did not do anything like that. Because she was a believer of Ali Muhammad, on the eve of Muharram, when her son died, she completed all the obligatory acts. She buried her son, and the first thing that she did after burying her son, she went to the Majlis of Abdullah al-Hussain. She left everything and she attended the gathering of Abdullah al-Hussain. The first Muharram passed, the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and the eve of Ashura arrived. She spent 10 days remembering Abdullah al-Hussain. Upon completing Ashura, on the 11th night, she went to the graveyard. What does she see? She sees that there is a woman in hijab. She is sitting at her son's grave and she is crying. This woman whose young son died comes close to this woman and she says, "Oh woman, I think that you have forgotten. This is not the grave of your son, but this is the grave of my son. And I have been busy with the zikr of Abdullah. I have been busy in the majalis of Abdullah. And today I have come to see the grave of my son." This woman begins to cry. And when she sees, what did this pious lady reply? She says, "Oh lady, you have been remembering my son Abdullah al-Hussain. I have been coming every day to your son's grave. Why? Because you have been remembering my son. I have been remembering your son." Because you have been remembering my son, I have been here remembering your son. Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam do not keep anything. If you spend £1 in the name of Ali Muhammad, if you help this Anjuman, if you give £1 towards this Anjuman, you are not giving it just to this Anjuman, but you are helping the mission of the Azadari of Abdullah. You are helping the mission of the Vilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And do you think that they will keep your pound and not give you anything in return? They will give you double, triple, if you give towards Ali Muhammad. Now yesterday I mentioned a hadith, and I want to mention a separate hadith. Yesterday I mentioned the hadith for crying for Abdullah al-Hussain. The sixth Imam was asked, how much do you need to cry for Imam Hussain to attain paradise? Imam Jafar al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam says that you need to only cry to such an extent that the wing of a fly gets wet. How big is a fly? How big is the fly and how big is the wing of the fly? Imam says that one tear, if it wets the wing of a fly, Allah makes paradise wajib for you. This is how cheap paradise is. That does not mean do not fulfill your duties towards your Lord. But those people that compare the zikr of Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam to Jannah, to paradise, do not understand that for whom we are gathering, for whom we are sitting here, for whom we are remembering, paradise is sold by the servant sitting in the streets of Iraq.
محمد وآل محمد صلوات
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali. Paradise is sold by the followers. Hazrat Bahlol, who does not know Hazrat Bahlol? He was a follower of Ali Muhammad. And how did he sell paradise? Did he show people a clip of paradise? Did he show people a picture of paradise? Did he take people to paradise and say, this is Jannah? What did Hazrat Bahlol do? Hazrat Bahlol gathered some mud and he made small houses out of mud, and he said to people, oh people, if you want to buy paradise, today we have a sale and we are selling paradise cheap. What is it that you want in return? Hazrat Bahlol said, nothing, but the only thing that Allah wants is قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. Jannat is only the love, the mawaddat, the ishq of Ali Muhammad. And I keep reminding you that only saying we have ishq, we have vilayat, is that sufficient? No. You have to show people through your actions. For example, it is a hot day here in the UK. You have the fan on. Why? Because you want to feel cool. And if someone says that if you want to feel even cooler, then buy an air conditioning unit and you will feel even cooler. You will feel like you are sitting in the Arctic. And one of us leaves and he goes and he buys the air conditioning unit. He brings the unit home and he places it in the side of a room. Do you think the air conditioning which he has purchased, will that give him the coolness that he requires if the air conditioning unit stays in the box? No. Okay, let's move a step forward. He purchases this unit, he brings it home, he takes it out of the box and he puts it in the other corner. Do you think still this air conditioning unit will give him the coolness that he requires? No. Then he goes another step further. He fits this air conditioning unit onto the wall. Do you think still this air conditioning unit will give him the coolness that he requires? Now, how many parts are there to an air conditioning unit? We have the unit itself, the air conditioning unit that goes inside. We have the pipe, and then we have the unit which goes outside. 3 units together make the air conditioning unit. So when he's put it on the wall, until it is not connected, he is not going to feel any coolness. Now that he has realized, he has purchased this air conditioning unit, he has brought it home, he has got it fitted to the wall, he has it all connected. What is required for this unit to work? He requires power, and when power is connected to this unit, then he will feel the coolness that he requires. Let's split this unit into 3 parts. Same like if we want to understand the religion of Islam, this example is only for the children so that they can understand how we can learn from the teachings of Ali Muhammad. Islam itself is split into three parts. We have Tawheed, which is La ilaha illallah. We have Risalat, which is Muhammad Rasulullah. We have the Vilayat of Ali ibn Abi Talib, which is Aliyun Waliullah. When we have these three parts together, we need power for it to work. And the power of Tawheed, the power of Risalat, and the power of Vilayat is the azmat of Ali Muhammad. Aliyun Waliullah. So when we have the love for Ali Muhammad, which is power, then Tawheed will give us benefit, Risalat will give us benefit, and Vilayat will give us benefit. Every person claims. Yesterday, someone asked me a question in regards to New Year, and I hope you understood the answer which I gave yesterday. But touching upon that, every single person claims to love who? Ali Muhammad. How many billions of Muslims are there in the world? But why is it that when the month of Muharram comes, there is only a handful of cities in the world that commemorate Aba Abdullah al-Hussain? Do you think that Hussain only left for himself? Do you think that Hussain only left for the followers of Muhammad Mustafa? Hussain did not only leave for himself or Muslims, but like his grandfather, who is Rahmatul lil Alameen, Hussain is also Muhsin, not for Muslims, but for all of mankind. Hussain went to save mankind. These lectures, these majalis, the azadari that we have, every year we remind ourselves who we are. And going back to, I have not forgotten my topic, I am talking about how we need to come to the zikr of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain. But all of these things, they are connected when it comes to the zikr of Ali Muhammad. So the example that I gave of namaz in the beginning, that when all the conditions prior to you standing on that prayer mat, when they are met, then you can stand on the prayer mat and say, Allahu Akbar. When you come to the majlis of Imam Hussain, 5 points that I want to give you today, and that includes myself. If we can implement on these, if we can follow these, then trust me, when you attend the next majlis, you will feel the light and the noor of the zikr of Imam Hussain. Firstly, when you make the intention to leave your house, make sure that you have done ablution. Because as I said, this is that place where the angels of God come. This is that place where A'imma alayhi salatu wasalam arrive. And if A'imma alayhi salatu wasalam are arriving, and next to you Imam Sajjad alayhi salatu wasalam is sitting, and you are not in the state of wudu, you have not done your ablution, how do you think the Imam will feel? So firstly, before you leave your house, before you make the intention to come to the majlis of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain, do ablution, do wudu, so that spiritually, mentally, physically, you are prepared to attend the majalis of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain. Secondly, make sure that you are wearing clean clothes. As it is a month of sorrow, we do not put on new clothes, but make sure that the clothes that you are wearing, they are clean. They do not smell. They are clean and fresh, so that when you attend the majalis, your brothers, mu'min, your elders who are sitting next to you, they do not feel any discomfort. It is very important. And now that you have arrived to the place where the zikr of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain is taking place, firstly, always come with the intention that you are coming to please who? To please Allah. Every single thing that we do in Islam, in our lives, should be with the intention qurbatan ilallah. Together, qurbatan ilallah, qurbatan ilallah. Everything that we do should be for the pleasure of Allah. When we come to the zikr of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain, when we come to the majalis of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain, our intention should be that we only want to please Allah. And when you have that intention, then trust me, when you have that intention, then the rahmat of Allah Azza wa Jal will fall upon you in such a way that you will feel a physical change inside you. And when you have come to the majlis, like when a person stands up for namaz, when he stands for prayer, we have a certain way in which we stand in front of our Lord. Many people tie their hands, many people open their hands. Similarly, when you come to the majlis of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain, you should be sitting in such a way that you have certainty that Imam Hussain is watching you. As I said, Sayyida Zahra comes to these majalis. You think when you come to the majlis and you are laying down with your legs wide open and half asleep, thinking about Molana is speaking too long, when is he going to finish so I can continue playing my Xbox and PlayStation? You are getting no sawab sitting here. You have all year to continue with those things that please you. This month of Muharram should be only for the pleasure of Ali Muhammad. The elders know all this, but the purpose is, as I said yesterday, the purpose of this platform is so that we can educate our youngsters. How can they understand who Hussain is when they do not even know how to sit in the majlis of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain? Now I know every elder, every parent, he teaches his children this. But it is also our duty that we pass these things on to our youth, our youngsters. So sit in such a way with humility, with respect, so that if Imam Hussain is watching you, and yaqeenan he is, he will look at you and he will say, that is my follower. You know, we have a narration that when the musibah of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain is recited, I'm not reciting Musa'ib, I want to give you a point so that you can understand the azmat and the fazilat of the place of the zikr of Ali Muhammad. When we cry loudly, the 4-year-old daughter of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain, she asks Sayyida Saqina. Sayyida Saqina asks Sayyida Zainab Salamullah alayha, oh mother, who are these people? And she says that they are our followers. Sayyidah Safina says, oh mother, but they did not see how my uncle Abbas fell off the horse. They did not see how the spear pierced my 6-month-old brother Ali Asghar. They did not see how Hazrat Qasim, my brother, how his body was trampled by horses. They did not see how our tents were burnt on the eve of 10th of Muharram. They did not see how I was slapped on the eve of 10th of Muharram. Only if they was in Karbala, then my Ali Asghar would have survived. My brother Ali Akbar would have survived. That proves that when Ali Muhammad attend our gatherings, they look at us. They see what we are doing. And not only see us physically, but they know what we are thinking inside our hearts. So always when you come to the zikr of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain, make sure that your soul, your mind is clear. All of these problems that we face, many people say to us, especially this month of Muharram, any person who is wearing black clothes, the rest of the Muslims who do not have an understanding of Ali Muhammad, they will come to us and they will say, are you going to the Majlis of Hussain? And what do we say? Yes. And what did they say then? Please remember me in your du'as. Even those that do not have an understanding, a proper understanding of what Majlis-e-Hussain is, what is the love of Ali Muhammad, know this much, that when a person attends a place where the zikr of Ali Muhammad is taking place, his du'as are accepted. They know nothing else. But when they see that in the month of Muharram, some person is wearing black clothes, he will come up to him, he or she, and she will say, remember me in your du'as, iltamas du'a, do du'a for me. They know that the Majlis of Hussain is such a place where du'as are accepted. Especially when Masaib is being recited. Do du'a. And I have said this many times, and the Imams have taught us this. Okay, before you pray for yourself, pray for others. Yani, if you want an Xbox One S, I don't know what is the latest version, but whatever is the newest version, if you want one for yourself, then do dua, may Allah give Molana one first. If you do that dua, then inshallah Allah will give you one also. The purpose is, what I am trying to explain is, learn and get into the habit of doing dua for others first. If you are not well, do dua for others. May Allah give all mu'mineen shifa for the sake of Aba Abdullah. Get into the habit of doing dua for other people. And then believe me when I say, when the 6th Imam said, that person who regularly prays for other people, he will have no need to pray for himself. When he regularly prays for other people, then he will have no need to ask for anything for himself. And the angels, you think the angels, when you never pray, and out, as they say, out of the blue moon, once in 6 months you decide to pray and ask Allah for a personal desire. You know what the angels do? When the angels hear your dua and they look at each other and they say, we've never heard this voice before. This person has never contacted us. Like for example, I'll give you my example. I have a mobile phone and those that have my number, I have your number saved. So someone who messages me, whose number I have saved, for example, if the Sadr of this Anjuman Syed Ibrar messages me and his name comes up, I will straight away open that message. Why? Because I know who he is and what he is representing. I will quickly answer his message. For a person who never prays, when he contacts Allah Azza wa Jal, the angels who take his dua to the arsh, they will look at his dua and they will say, this number is not saved. They will say, his number is not saved. Lihaza, when we have time, we will take his dua to the arsh. This is why Ali Muhammad teaches, get into the habit of praying. Even if you do not need anything. Even when you have everything. Pray for others. And the biggest dua that we can do in today's day and age is, Allahumma ajil li wali. That is
Azmat Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad buland se bulandtar salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali. That is the biggest dua that you can do. Constantly get into the habit of saying, Allahumma ajil li waliyyika al-faraj. Or if you can't recite Arabic, you say, Ya Allah, send Imam Mahdi quickly. That is the best dua that you can do. And when you make a habit of things, then the angels know who you are. Your du'as are quickly heard. Final few moments talking about cleansing yourself. So we've understood that if physically you clean yourself, then you can attend the majlis of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain. But how do we spiritually cleanse ourselves? 5 points I would like to mention, and inshallah in the next coming days we will talk about these so that we can make a change in our lives. There are certain diseases that gather us, that surround us. For example, if you do not clean yourself on a daily basis, you can get an infection on your skin. That infection will develop into a rash. That rash will further develop into a more complicated disease which will require antibiotics and treatment. Similarly, this spiritual soul that we have, this nafs that we have, if we do not keep it clean, it can also get infected. What is the first thing that infects our soul? The first thing is self-admiration. What is self-admiration? Self-admiration is when you praise yourself. Yani, I say, I am the most beautiful person, I am the best speaker, I am the best reciter, I have the best clothes, I have the best games. You are praising yourself. But Ali Muhammad is teaching us that do such acts that when people look at you, they praise you. When people look at you, they praise you. And the famous saying of Imam Ali ﷺ, when he says, live your life within people in such a way that when you are with them, they pray that you do not go. And when you leave them, they pray that you return. Do you think that we are at such a stage that people pray that we return and we sit with them? Or when we are sitting with someone and we are speaking, they are doing dua, Ya Allah, when is he going to leave? This is done through cleansing our soul. The second disease of the soul is anger. Anger is the most dangerous disease for the soul. Nowadays, every single youngster quickly says to his parents, I am now angry. I am angry now. Because they have learned that when they show anger, or when the other person realizes he is angry, he will give up. Trust me when I say anger does not always work. Because even Shaitan tried to show anger to someone, and in return what did he hear? Leave Jannah and go to Jahannam. Anger. What is anger? Anger is when your mind stops working. The Holy Prophet says that if you get angry and you are standing, sit down. If you are still angry, then lay down. Drink water when you are angry. And the best thing that you can do is say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Why at such a young age our youngsters say, oh, I did that act because I became angry. Why become angry, Baba? Why at every stage in our life we blame two people? One, we blame the shaitan for everything. And the second, we blame anger for everything. On the day of judgment, the shaitan will turn around and say, I did not do anything. Whatever he did on his own accord. And the anger will say, well, I did not say anything. Whatever he did on his own accord. Then what answer will you have to give Allah Azza wa Jalla? Because on the day of judgment, your hands will speak, your feet will speak, your eyes will speak, your ears will speak. You think every answer you will give Allah and you will say, answer to Allah, you will say anger, anger, anger. So the second disease that we need to protect ourselves from is anger. And the third, 5 inshallah I will cover today, and inshallah the rest we will continue inshallah. So the third disease of the soul is pretending to be virtuous, pretending to be good. How many people I see who I know are not good, but when they see a Molana, they be good, or they pretend to be good. It is good that they are pretending to be good, but they should not pretend to be good, if that makes sense. Is that making sense to the youngsters? Because when you pretend to be something or someone you are not, then probably the people sitting around you, they will not realize it. But believe me, the angels, when they are seeing this, they laugh. We do not need to pretend that we are good. We are followers of Ali Muhammad. We should be good. Not pretend. Riya is such a sin that on the day of judgment you will be punished severely. So do not pretend to be someone you are not. For example, if you do not understand deen, ask someone. Ask ulama, ask your elders. Because there is no shame in asking about something that you do not know. So do not pretend to be someone you're not. Do not pretend to be good, but be good according to how Ali Muhammad have taught us. The fourth is envy, hasad. That is also a disease for the soul. To be jealous for someone, that is a big sin. Do not be jealous if someone has a better car than you. Do not be jealous if someone has better clothes than you. Do dua, Ya Allah, you have given him better clothes. I am doing dua, Ya Allah, give me also best clothes. That's how a believer of Ali Muhammad should answer. And the final disease that we have is backbiting. Talking about someone who is not present. Yani, you have a friend who has not attended Majlis today. To say that he does not love Imam Hussain is wrong. But first we think that there could be a reason why he has not attended. And nowadays with the modern technology, people do not attend in person as much as they watch online. He could be watching this majlis online. So do not backbite about someone. May Allah give us all the tawfiq to implement on the teachings of Ali Muhammad. Only if everyone knew who Ali Muhammad was, then after the passing of Rasulullah, the family of Rasulullah would have not been asked to leave Medina. Yesterday we mentioned the musibah of Sayyidah Fatima. How after the passing of Rasulullah, her door was burned. How after the passing of Rasulullah, Sayyidah Zainab cries and she says, "Oh my father, they have done so much zulm upon me that if the zulm would have come on today, the day would have turned into night." Wow, Ghurbata, wow, Masibata. May Allah give you no sorrow other than the sorrow of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. Sayyidah used to cry so much for her father that these people said, and they came to Ali and they said, "Ya Ali, ask Fatima to either cry during the day or to cry at night, because we cannot sleep at night because Zahra is crying for her father. We cannot work during the day because Zahra is crying for her father." This musibah, this tragedy began with Fatima to Zahra. Eventually, Mu'mineen Azadar who have come to remember Abu Abdullah al-Hussain, a day came when a letter came from Sham, and that letter said, "O Walid, tell Hussain to do the bayyat of Yazid ibn Muawiyah." Letter came from Sham to Walid, the governor of Medina. And what did this letter say? That Yazid says, "I have become the Khalifa of the Muslims." May Allah curse such a Khalifa who takes people away from the religion of Allah Azza wa Jal. Yazid says to Walid, "O Walid, call Hussain to the darbar, call Hussain to the courtyard and ask Hussain for bayyat." They sent someone. They came to the house of Imam Hussain and they said, "We have received a letter from Sham. Yazid has become the Khalifa for the Muslims. And Yazid is saying, take the bayyat from Hussain ibn Ali." Imam Hussain leaves. He arrives. This is the musibah that I want to mention. How Abu Abdullah al-Hussain left Medina. Imam Hussain leaves his house, and with all of his brothers and sons, he arrives outside the darbar. Every one of them were all courageous. They all wanted to enter with Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. But Imam Hussain says, "No, wait outside. If I face any difficulty, I will say Allahu Akbar. All of you enter the darbar." Listen to the musibah. Abu Abdullah enters the courtyard. Walid is sitting on the throne. Similarly, like his mother was not offered a chair, Imam Hussain entered and he is looking that someone is sitting on the minbar of his grandfather Rasulullah. And what does he say? He says, Hussain, we have received a letter and we want your bayat. Imam Hussain says, how can someone like me do the bayat of someone like him, Yazid? As soon as Imam said this, Imam said, Allahu Akbar. Marwan says to Walid, oh Walid, this is your chance. You will never get a chance to again. Cut the head of Hussain and send it to Sham. Abbas entered and he said, how dare you say the name of Hussain whilst Abbas is alive? How dare you think about cutting the head of Hussain whilst Abbas is alive? Allah's Imam Hussain decided to leave Medina on the 28th of Rajab. Imam Hussain decided to leave Medina. As another one musibah I want to mention, and we will do matam of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain. When Imam Hussain decided to leave Medina, he wanted to go to the grave of his grandfather. So in the night he goes to the grave of his grandfather. When he arrives, he begins to cry and he puts himself onto the grave of his grandfather. Imam Hussain says, Ya Rasulullah, when you passed away, they hit my mother Fatima al-Zahra. Ya Rasulullah, my father passed away, my mother passed away with 4 broken ribs. My brother Hassan's janaza returned back to the house. Oh Nana, they want me to leave Medina. When Imam Hussain was crying, he fell asleep on the grave of Rasulullah. What does he see? He sees that his grandfather is crying. The Imam of Rasulullah is open. And what does Rasulullah say? He says, Ya Hussain, you will not be leaving alone. You will be taking Zainab with you. You will be taking Kalsoom with you. Wa gurbata, wa musibata. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Matme mazloom Karbala.